Okay, it looks like we're live. So, hello everyone. My name is Mikayla Lee. I am a part of the Lead Ohio team, and we are doing this storytelling campaign in this year to highlight the stories of women of color across the state who are running for local office. So, in my capacity at Lead, I've had the extreme pleasure to meet and work with some of these candidates, and I'm really excited that we're able to tell their stories in a format like this. And as a disclosure, this is not an endorsement process. This is just a storytelling campaign where we're talking to women across the state. This was a process where women reached out to us and told us their story, and we are now going live on social media to have a further discussion. This is in partnership with the Ohio Women's Alliance, and both Lead Ohio and the Ohio Women's Alliance are nonprofit 501c3 entities. We're nonpartisan, and we don't work directly with any campaigns. So just wanted to get all of that out of the way before we launched into this conversation. I'm really excited to chat with my friend and colleague, and someone that I've been really excited to get to know this year and watch as your campaign has just blossomed. Also, as a little side note, your campaign colors are my favorite colors, so I feel a little bit, a little bit of an extra excitement around you guys. So just wanted to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your story and your background, and what brings you here with us.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I am Ajmeri Hoque, and just to go way, way back, I was born in Bangladesh, and I came to this country when I was 2 years old with my parents. And when they came here, we moved to New York City because that's where is immigrant haven. When you come here, you go to New York City, you get settled for a few years. And then after a few years, we moved to Connecticut. And then my senior year of high school, I moved to Florida. And when I was in Florida, I was looking to come back up north because I missed the fall seasons, the spring season. I just missed seasons. And I came to Ohio State for a college visit, and I fell in love because Ohio State is magical. And I came to the campus and I turned to my parents and I was like, this is where I'm coming. This is where I'm going. So then my parents moved with me to Ohio. And I then became settled in Dublin because my parents bought their very first home in the Dublin School District at that time. And ever since then, we've been settled in the community. And I moved into Dublin proper in 2015 with my husband and daughter, and have just been really enjoying our stay here, loving the community, and loving what brings Ohio, what brings everyone to Ohio, which is just having a family atmosphere with a city vibe too. So we love it here.
Thanks so much. And we're so glad to have you. Can you tell me a little bit more about your background and what you do for a living? And I know we're going to talk about your campaign a little bit, but just a little bit more about yourself and what you are up to just day to day.
Sure, absolutely. So when I applied to Ohio State, I applied as a biology major because I am South Asian, and we all apply as biology majors to go to med school one day. And then I changed majors pretty quickly and became a political science major. And then I went to law school at Capital University, and I have practiced in New York City for a couple of years, and I came back to Ohio in 2013, and I was a prosecutor. I'm a criminal defense attorney now, and I have my own law firm since 2019. And that's what I've been doing for the most part. In between all that time, I am a mom. I take care of my 9-year-old, my husband. He helps a lot as much as he can, but he is a physician and he has had long hours, especially with the COVID crisis going on. And so that's a little bit about what I do, my family, and what we're doing now.
Yeah. So we, are in just such an interesting, I think, moment. You mentioned COVID. We have elections that I feel like for the first time in a really long time, people are really passionate and driven to participate in what we call off-year elections in general, but what people in the campaign side of things, we don't like to think that they're off-year elections, but typically people don't really show up in these numbers. And years that aren't the midterm or the presidential, and people don't really run for these seats a lot. They go uncontested. So what drove you to want to participate locally in your community, during this year, during this time?
I've always been an advocate of volunteering in our communities. I've volunteered in campaigns since I was 16 when I was in Connecticut, and Al Gore and George Bush were running. And since then, I've been volunteering on campaigns. I was always running for something. In high school, I ran for student government and student senate. And then in college, I ran for undergraduate student government and was heavily involved in college campaigns and the college Democrats, the OSU College Democrats, and all of that. But what really changed in the last 4 years, in my opinion, was President Trump, and then, of course, COVID. And when you bring such extreme situations into people's homes, and it has affected all of us, right? On a personal level, COVID and all of these policies that were enacted by President Trump, you feel compelled, at least I felt compelled to, you know what, it's not just time to volunteer anymore, it's time to take a stand and really make a statement. And for me, that stand is running for office, because I don't like just complaining about things. I'm a doer. And so for me, this is the action that I can take. I can run for office. I can help policies change that I think need to change. And I can help at least bring communities together that are divided right now. And that's why I'm running. And that's why I decided that this year was the perfect year for me.
That's really cool. So we were talking, earlier, we both attended an event this past evening with a bunch of candidates across Central Ohio who are New American, AAPI, immigrants, refugees, like a group of people who are very underrepresented in Ohio politics, despite the vastly growing populations all across the state of New American and immigrant communities. And I wanted to kind of hear your perspective of, what that representation means and what that means to see so many people, step up to run and represent their communities in, places that you guys live that historically have not been that representative.
I think I can't even express how excited I am to see all of the different faces of people running around Central Ohio, and not just in Central Ohio, all over the country. There has just been a wave of brown and Black folks standing up and saying, I'm going to take charge, I'm going to lead the way, and this is the way to do it, because if you don't have a seat at the table, your voice is not being heard. And it's amazing. I hope that it continues. I think, COVID had its downsides, but COVID also allowed a lot of people like myself to contemplate and really get into running for office. Like I said, I'm a working mom. I didn't have a lot of time. I've actually been thinking about running for office for quite some time. A lot of the training programs that were offered were in person. You had to take time away from family, take time away from kids, arrange for childcare. There were a lot of steps involved in even getting trained to run for office. But with COVID, everything became on Zoom and online, and it really opened the doors for working parents who wanted to run and couldn't give that time, and now they can, because I was able to take 6 weekends of lead on Zoom. I was able to take trainings for other organizations over Zoom, and really those were the stepping stones for helping us, people who don't have any experience in this country, any generational families who are in politics. We need programs like LEAD to help us, give us direction. And with this whole Zoom opening up, it really helped us all get a seat at the table, or at least try to get a seat at the table. So I think it's been amazing. I am so excited. And with COVID and with all the policies that were enacted by the Trump presidency, it really made people of color think that this is, at least in my opinion, that this is the time to really go for it. And so we start local, you start local, and then you work your way up. Local is personal, and we really need to have more people run locally. So I'm very excited to see so many local people run in local races.
Yeah, I echo all of that excitement. It is my favorite thing. So going off of that, as a woman and a woman of color and someone who didn't really have this background in politics, as you mentioned, what has been helpful to you in curbing imposter syndrome or feeling like you are uncomfortable in this space, or, maybe people are skeptical of you being in this space? What has helped you kind of build that resolve that, you should be here and you should be running?
I have imposter syndrome every day. It's something that I am working on pretty much every day of this campaign. I have a great network of women who are running, who we are lifting each other up. We are helping each other. I just had a call with someone who's running in Dublin, and she told me, "You go get it, you do it, you can do it." And so that helps. That helps with the imposter syndrome. I have to remind myself I'm an attorney. I did I was the first in my family to go to college. I was the first in my family to go to law school. I did all that. Yeah. I can do this too. So it's something that I have to work on every day. But I also have to remind myself of the bigger picture. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this to change my community. And I can't just expect someone else to do it if I'm not willing to make sacrifices too. So that's why I'm doing it. And as far as just being uncomfortable, as a brown woman in an attorney criminal defense atmosphere, I kind of live in that uncomfortable white space almost every day. There's incidents, whether it's overt or covert, there's incidents. So you learn to just move on and take it, just move on, and don't let it bother you. That's the only thing I can say. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a very universal experience, and not just politics, not just but just in general in life. So I think that's really insightful. Switching gears a little bit, you talked briefly about how important local government is and running for local offices, and I really liked what you said about you can't or for you felt like you didn't want to just complain, like you wanted to do something. Can you talk about what you think is possible at the local level and why you think it's so important to really focus there?
Mm-hmm. Specifically for Dublin, right now we have, like you said, a large Asian community. It's 20% Asian, 18% immigrant born. And in Dublin, Council has created excellent programs for its citizens, excellent. But there are accessibility problems, especially for people who have a second language or a third language that they're learning. Immigrants are multilingual. If you don't provide access to those programs in another language besides English and Spanish, you are cutting out a large part of the people that you're serving. And that is a local problem. That is a problem that's affecting you daily. And many times, our community members don't even know that these programs exist. And I've seen recently Dublin has really gotten into social media and sharing events and sharing things that are happening, which is great. That has not always happened, but I'm really happy that that's happening because we are all connected by social media. So we do need to have that accessibility as well. Just making things easier for people to find information and get connected with the people who can help you on a daily basis is very important to me. And if we can bridge that accessibility gap, that will go a long way with having a more connected community, having more engaged citizens, and then also you have happier people living here. You tell more of your friends and family members, come live here. This is a great place. You're improving your own city by doing that.
Yeah, that's really incredible. So you talked about the Asian community that lives in Dublin, and I feel like it's been years now, but just a couple days ago, we received the census numbers that showed, what it was looking like in terms of population growth. And Central Ohio saw a very significant shift as I think the largest city in the state now is Columbus, and Franklin County just grew astronomically. And I wanted to know if you had any information of what that looked like in Dublin. Like, what are the trends showing? What did the census come back with? And what does that mean for the future of Dublin?
Dublin has grown a lot. Just in my community alone, we've put in several new streets and new homes, and we're having, like many growing communities, issues with reliable electricity, reliable services, just community services, and a lot of it is towards the immigrant population who is moving into Dublin. We do have a large South Asian population that lives in Dublin, and the Dublin School District also goes into Union and Delaware counties. And not just is Franklin County growing, but Union and Delaware counties are booming. And with immigrant communities, Asian communities, specifically South Asian communities, you can't even, walk on some of the neighborhoods in Dublin without seeing a brown face. So I don't have the exact numbers, but when you walk the neighborhoods, you see where the trend is going.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And I think that's, something that in the next couple of years, as people, I think, start getting more aware of local government and its impact, we'll hopefully see some shifts there in terms of representation and diversity. And obviously, why we're really excited for you and all of your opportunities and the work that you've been doing as well. So wanted to, shift gears a little bit, lighten things up. So just a personal question. Obviously, COVID has just changed how we live drastically. And this year has been like a really weird kind of hybrid of everything is still on Zoom, but, we have the vaccine, but the Delta variant is running rampant and all those things. So it still very much feels like, last year when we had to be creative of what we ended up doing. Is there anything that you have been doing to kind of occupy your time that's changed in COVID, like any new hobbies or new TV shows that you're watching, or anything that your kid has gotten into that you know a part of?
I have washed my hands of my kid. She is allowed to do whatever she wants. I've just given up. I'm like at the end of my rope. Thank God school has started. I'm glad she is back in school. She is fully masked, but back in school. Thank God. I was looking forward to it for 18 months. And for me, I'm a big Disney fan. I go to Disney a lot, and I haven't been in over a year. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos of Disney. Sometimes I listen to Disney music. So yeah, that's occupies my time. But as far as TV shows, I watch Bridgerton in a day, if that tells you anything.
Yes, absolutely.
So those are my de-stressors and how I like to, have some fun.
Yeah. I did, I think, similar things. I'm on TikTok a lot, and it seems like if you like one video, that's what your For You page turns into. So I think there was a week in July where I was like, oh, this Disney World video is super fun. And then just for like 2 weeks after that, all I was seeing was Disney content. Yes, I definitely feel you. I'm excited for some point in the future when we can, go back and have the full experience. But and then, of course, who's not a fan of Bridgerton? I don't know. I want to meet the person who is not a fan of Bridgerton.
I agree.
Well, I am so grateful, that you were able to take this time. Do you have any kind of last minute thoughts or comments or musings about running for office or being a woman of color, or, this moment that we're in 2021 before we wrap up?
I just think that this is a very exciting year. I could not believe how many women of color are running everywhere. And, men as well. But just the number of women running is amazing, inspiring. And I hope it continues. And if nothing else, November, who knows what's going to happen. I just hope the momentum continues, even past that. That's all.
Yeah, that's really great. And I echo that as well. I'm really excited. There's just so much energy and passion and talent and great candidates. And, I really feel strongly that, and I'm young, so maybe it was different, but, that local government is starting to see a resurgence and that people are really starting to understand the impact and importance that they can have, within their direct communities, within their neighbors. And, yeah, I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited for you. Wanted to just thank you so much for spending a little bit of time this evening with me. And I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Thank you, Mikayla. It was great chatting with you too.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye. Have a